Hey everyone, CDD Reviews here. I am CDD, and this is going to be a review of the new Future album, EVOL. Future is a Atlanta rapper, singer, and he's been rising up, if you forgive me for the pun, ever since he's been causing noise in the trap world, the world of trap music. Trap music, if you're not in the know, is a rising subgenre of hip-hop characterized by these really deep bass hits, some jittery hi-hats, and maybe some elements of EDM. Even though I am of Georgia residence and all that, and I do place regional pride in music. Can't say I've been a fan of most hip-hop that's coming out of the southern scene as of late. I've never been that big on Young Thug, even though I see a lot of promise in him. I don't see the appeal in Fetty Wap, and Future, I just don't see that much appeal either. I tried Dirty Sprite 2 around the time it came out, and it just sounded so homogenous. There was like one feature on the album, and it just felt way too long. Just Future rapping about the same things he's pretty much going to be rapping about from the time to come. He's getting high on that codeine and that weed and that Xanax and all that other shit. He's probably going to start inflicting violence on someone who doesn't like him or agree with him or something like that. He's trying to engage in gang-related activity, and he's probably also going to fuck your bitch. So yeah, that's what I kind of expected. Maybe he sounds a little more focused on this one. Maybe his rapping is improving slightly. I think the production is much better, but again, it's just another Future album. I feel like I'm just getting Dirty Sprite 2 Episode 2 Revenge of the Lean. This album is about 11 tracks long. It's about almost 40 minutes, 39 minutes in length. So in that sense, it sounds like Future and his producers are making an effort to cut out the meat that was on Dirty Sprite 2. Even without those deluxe tracks, that album just seemed too long. But yeah, this album, EVOL, it's everything that I expected from Dirty Sprite 2, but maybe slightly better. On the Future end of things, it's just Future as usual. He's singing horribly. His rapping is okay, but what he's saying and how he's saying it is just so awful. It's trash. Take the song In Her Mouth, which, yeah, you can already tell what this is about. He seems to be bragging about being able to be above the law, even though there's nothing that seems to support, nothing he's saying on this track that seems to be supporting this. This just feels like pure intelligence sucking. And then there's the track Lil Haiti Baby, where he gets really overly dramatic and very passionate about something that you shouldn't feel sympathy about whatsoever. Someone gets killed in a gangbang, but I don't see how or why he should be even impacted by that at all. There's a track, Low Life, which actually features the only feature on the album, The Weeknd. His verse is like better than anything Future has said about 9 tracks prior to this one. He sounds charismatic, he sounds sleek, he sounds sexy. It's fantastic. Maybe comparatively fantastic, seeing as I had to put up with that mumbly, horrible voice of his, but still, it's like really refreshing when The Weeknd just all of a sudden comes in and slays the whole song before Future has anything to say. And when Future does have anything to say on this track, he's watching his baby mama and his wifey kissing, and he says that if he gets caught cheating, he's not going to say sorry. Okay, you're an unfaithful piece of shit. What gives? Why do I care? So yeah, track for track for track, it's just Future doing his thing. Maybe some of the hooks are catchy. I think maybe Future, like I said, in terms of like rapping ability, is getting slightly better. Tracks like Maybach and Ain't No Time, perhaps the closing track, Flash It Only. He's certainly getting better with what he's pretty much known for anyway, the hook guy, by default making them only the better tracks on the album. What saves this album from being absolutely horrible is the production. Once again, Metro Boomin, who I honestly think needs to go solo, please go solo. Metro Boomin's production on this album is actually really good. It cancels out all of Future's bad verses and all that. To go to the track Ain't No Time, you're getting like these really off-kilter and moody trap beats, and this seems to be the case with tracks like Seven Rings, perhaps Photocopied, to an extent In Her Mouth, but I think that like some of the ones that like really shine through are like the ones that include a lot more stuff. Take a Little Haiti Baby, for example. It has like these well put together trumpet snippets that are well looped and really intriguing, as it's adding to this overly dramatic atmosphere that, again, shouldn't exist, but it's a good adage. And there's a track, Maybach, which has like this really driving and perhaps even looping acoustic guitar just gliding through the track as the trap chaos ensues. And to go back to Lowlife, I think Metro Boomin's signature trap sound, and The Weeknd, who also has co-production on this album, The Weeknd's really moody and really sleek atmosphere seem to go hand in hand really well. I actually couldn't have predicted this kind of combination to just go as well as it has, honestly. But even these production choices, even these beats, even these samples and all that, can't keep me from ignoring the really big problem on the album. The big problem on the album is pretty much everything that includes Future. Everything including Future rapping and Future just saying anything whatsoever. So yeah, overall, pretty conflicted and rather indifferent to this album. In terms of net enjoyability, I didn't like it that much. I think if Future were to take maybe a few years off or something and just focus on his life and reflect on what his life means and how he's able to just put it into compelling language instead of just rapping about the same thing over and over and over again, I think he can really pull through eventually. But I think the formula he's using right now, just putting out album after album after album, where he only slightly improves each time, it just makes me wonder how many times am I going to have to pay attention to this guy before he actually sounds good, and how many times he's going to keep relying on these producers before these producers realize that maybe they can just do their own thing and make their own living and fame off of that. Really self-actualize in this trap genre that may or may not end up just being a trend years later. This album is a -0.4 out of +3. It's got maybe a few good ones, but these good ones have nothing to do with Future at all, aside from maybe the hooks where Future raps particularly decent and solid. If you give this album a listen, what'd you think of it? Did you like this album? Did you dislike this album? What was the reasoning behind it? And what should I consider listening to and reviewing next? This is CDD Reviews here, signing off.